Fallout 3's opening is dumb, and like, way too long. I know, this makes me sound like a crazy person, but just please, hear me out for a little bit. Fallout 3 is a game I enjoy quite a bit. I have issues with it, it's not a perfect game by any means, but as a whole, I enjoy it. However, the internet seems to have the biggest hate boner for this game. Everywhere I go, I see nothing but people trashing Fallout 3 left and right.
Can you go? You're making me very uncomfortable. Please leave. Please leave.
I find this interesting because I don't think there's ever been a game where the public opinion has changed so drastically over the years. When I first played Fallout 3 shortly after launch, it was one of the most critically acclaimed games on the market. IGN even gave it a 9.6, and this was 12 years before they would lose all credibility.
But Cyberpunk 2077's impressively flexible design makes it a truly remarkable RPG.
Families would go to the store for groceries and come back with 3 copies of Fallout 3 for Xbox 360. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, it flipped. This game that was once hailed as one of the greatest of all time was now guilty of committing the #1 cardinal sin of the internet: being cringe. The reason I'm mentioning all this is because I want to make it clear, I don't hate Fallout 3. I want this to be clear, because honestly, if I took a shot every time I was accused of being a New Vegas fanboy Bethesda-hating incel, my liver would be deader than Dad Liam Neeson. Alright, now that I made it clear that I don't hate Fallout 3, I f***ing hate the opening of Fallout 3. Now when I say the opening of Fallout 3, I'm referring to everything in Vault 101. Save from a few moments, I think the intro is a long and bloated mess that doesn't serve the game at all. Now it's always good to start your game off with a bang. If a game's intro isn't gripping and captivating, players will just drop it and favor the new Fortnite season. Here's the thing though, Bethesda games have horrible intros. Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 3, even Fallout 4 suffer from overly long and boring intros. These games are designed to be played and replayed multiple times, but these long, non-skippable intros almost ruin this. There's a reason that some of the top mods for these games skip the intros completely. So, let's dive into 3's intro and see what really makes it bad. Fallout 3 immediately starts out with the player character's birth. Starting out with the literal birth of the Lone Wanderer is a little cliche, but I've never been too bothered by it. This would also be shamelessly ripped off by Assassin's Creed 2 a mere year later.
What shall we call him, my love?
The chess club.
This stage is also where character customization takes place. Despite taking place hundreds of years after nukes destroyed America, the Vault has access to a magic TV that shows exactly what the player character will look like at 19. After we finish our character, our mom is game ended, and we're fast forwarded 1 year later. Now that we're the age of the average XQC fan, Liam Neeson Dad sits us down and reads us our dead mother's favorite Bible verse. Now this might seem like some ham-fisted foreshadowing, because it is, but it's also here where we're going to choose our character's special. We do this by reading the Your Special book. I always think it's charming when a game has character customization baked into gameplay rather than having a stat screen in the beginning. It's a small touch and not necessary by any means, but I like it. Liam Neeson comes back and boom, 9 years later. Not sure what the reason for all these time jumps are. I understand they want the player to feel like they're growing up with the Lone Wanderer, but this is the 3rd time jump in less than 10 minutes. It makes it all feel so disjointed. Going back to the 3rd time jump, it's your birthday. Congratulations. Me and your mother love you very much. Okay, well, maybe not her so much, but look at him. This segment is the player's first introduction with the speech system, and I think it serves as a great one at that. Specifically, the encounter with Butch. After the Mr. Handy destroys your birthday cake, Butch approaches you and demands you give him your sweet roll. Now, there are multiple ways you can handle this conflict. You can insult him, offer to split it with him, outright give it to him, or threaten to dox him in the Discord server. This interaction is so important because it teaches you there's always multiple ways around an issue. No matter your playstyle, there will be a way for you to solve the problem the way you want to. Now, whether or not the whole game will stick to this ideology, that's a complete other point. But this small interaction lays down a pretty solid base for the game to come. You know, other than the jarring time jumps, this intro is actually pretty solid. I don't know why I remembered not liking it. Jesus, we're not even halfway done yet. After mingling some more at your party, which mainly consists of you standing against the wall looking at the weather app on your Pip-Boy, your dad tells you that you have another present down in the reactor level. On your way down, you're met with Jonas. A well-crafted, deep character that surely has a very long life ahead of him. It turns out your present is what every red-blooded American 10-year-old needs. A gun. It's here where the player is introduced to the dumpster fire known as Fallout 3's gunplay. We shoot some roaches for a bit, then boom, a 4th time jump. Now making the lone wanderer 16 years old. Here, we're chatting with Liam Neeson Dad before we take the Generalized Occupational Aptitude Test, or the GOAT. The GOAT! The GOAT is the game's way of selecting your tag skills. The way it's designed is you sit in the classroom and the instructor reads a handful of questions out loud. Now the GOAT is an incredibly slow and dull test that feels like it takes forever. And here's the real kicker. You can't skip through the questions. Now this might not sound too bad on a first playthrough, you might actually want to hear the questions, but like I said, these games are meant to be played and replayed over and over again. After going through the GOAT 20 plus times, I think I'd rather watch an hour-long TikTok prank compilation.
Ah, Freeman.
No.
You smell something burning?
Get out of my face and call cops on. Stop.
I'll be right behind you.
Stop.
Major fracture detected.
To put it in perspective, here's how long it takes for me to do Doc Mitchell's test. Now here's the GOAT. This wouldn't be so terrible if your answers actually mattered, but they don't. 99% of players are going to ignore the skills they get assigned and choose their own. After completing the GOAT, we step outside the classroom and you won't believe what happens next. Another f***ing time jump? This time, we're woke up by our good friend Amada. And surprise, Jonas is dead. And your dad left to get milk and he's not coming back. And everyone in the vault wants to kill you. And the rad roaches are attacking and killing everyone too. Alright, shit went from 0 to 100 real fast, but we don't have time to sit and ponder on it. We have one objective: survive. Escape. When you're talking to Amada, she tells you that she stole her father's pistol and offers to give it to you. Now here, you can choose to take it or turn it down. Okay, so if I turn down the weapon, that probably means the game will give me some non-lethal way to deal with the upcoming situation. Maybe a speech check or something like that. Well, here's the first vault guard. Let's try and...
Your father betrayed us all!
Well, what if we...
Your father betrayed us all!
Alright, how about... The first real encounter in the whole game gives you 0 options to solve it, other than bashing his brains in. The same man who went to your 10th birthday party will stop at nothing to murder you. Really, a game that's built on playing your own way and solving problems multiple different ways starts off with the complete opposite. Imagine instead if rather than killing you, Vault Security tries to capture you and take you to the Overseer. You could refuse, and the guards would go aggro like they do in base game, or you could surrender and be taken to the Overseer. This isn't a perfect replacement by any means, but it would offer more choice than what we have here. Speaking of the Overseer, we have to make our way to his office to leave the vault. We can either kill or spare the Overseer, and our choice will actually have a pretty big consequence in the quest, Trouble on the Home Front. Which, hey, that's pretty cool. Going through the escape tunnel, we finally make it to the vault doors. One cool thing I've always liked is how everyone from the vault refuses to step foot outside of the vault door. They'll chase you all the way up until that door, then they stop. Now to be honest, this might just be Bethesda's horrible AI pathfinding, but I like to think it was done on purpose, just to show how indoctrinated the higher-ups of the vault are. Despite how much I dislike the intro, it culminates into one of the best Fallout moments in the whole entire series. As a whole, the Fallout 3 intro stands out to me as a low point of the Fallout series. It goes against almost everything the game is, and it's so long and bloated. It could have been easily solved by making the intro skippable or much shorter, but I've also never made a video game in my life, so what do I know? How do you feel about the Fallout 3 intro? Do you dislike it as much as I do? Or do you have bad taste? Whatever it is, let me know down below. Also, which Fallout game has the best opening in the series? If you liked the video, liking and subscribing really helps the channel out a lot. I do have a channel Discord you can join at the link below too. Lastly, I do have channel memberships, so feel free to look into those. I think that's all for me. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.